Hold on, is my mic? Yo. What's going on, guys? And welcome back.
To another. Oh no, never mind.
Merry. Oh God, we blew it.
It's a
What's up,
jolly
Andrew?
holiday with Andrew and Chris.
So, guys,
That's close
this is Talking with Andrew and Chris. Welcome back to Talking with Andrew and Chris.
What up? Hey,
Who are you?
Chris.
Yeah.
Now that it's November, are you one of those people that's just gung ho? It's Christmas time, or do you like to appreciate the fall?
Yeah, no, I think that corporatism is the reason we're in the scenario that we're in today in regards to our country and our nation and everything. So I try to take each day as it comes and not force anything that isn't supposed to happen. So you guys can read into that however you like. I'm actually really happy with how much of a blanket statement that truly was. It can go either way, just like this election where it stands. And honestly, even though we're recording this 3 days after the election, who knows if by the time this episode is actually aired, if we actually have a president.
Listen, if they don't figure it out by Saturday, I'll do it.
It's sad, but true, unfortunately. Like one of my favorite Metallica songs. Speaking of Metallica, we have a huge Metallica fan on the show today. We'll introduce him in a little bit.
And that's got to be the only reason we're having him on, too.
Yeah, pretty much, dude. We're gonna pretty much talk about all things Metallica and Metallic on this episode.
Isn't his last name Metallica?
Close enough.
It's almost Metallica.
But Andrew, how have you been, man? Because before, this is why we stopped doing these interviews, because these guests come on and their egos just sap up every bit of life from the conversation and just absorb every possible second of airtime. So it's like Andrew and I are just, talking heads, sort of ushering them to their next highlight reel moment. And really, we're not a part of it. So
yes, please.
Exception to the rule
what else
today.
Are you trying to peddle to the people? We would love to discuss it.
But before we bring him in here, wow, I just have to clear the air. We're not actually angry or mad or upset or anything right now. It is what it is.
Not
Life goes on. We're just kidding around, and this is our friend Johnny, and it's kind of like our dynamic with him, guys. So sorry if the,
it's gonna get a bit goofy.
It's gonna get a bit goofy, and we don't mean to trigger anyone with our sort of nihilistic views, but hey, that's just where we're at right now. Speaking of nihilism, this next guest is the exact opposite of that. He is one of the nicest people I've ever met, one of the most talented and hardworking human beings I've ever met in my entire life. Ladies and gentlemen of the Talking with Andrew and Chris mythos, welcome to the show for the first time in a long time. That's a little hint. You guys are going to have to join the Patreon when we launch that to understand what I mean by that. Johnny Robert Manna. What's going on, Johnny? How you doing, man?
How's it going, guys? Thanks so much for having me. I'm doing really well. I'll try not to let my ego sap up too much of this podcast.
Johnny,
I really appreciate the introduction, though. I'm really happy to be here. It's been since episode 0 before you guys even started the show.
Yeah. Episode 0 when we finally launched the Patreon, which I still have. That will be like the top tier $5 package. Like you get to hear episode 0 with Johnny, where just a little hint and a nudge to get there when we get there in a few months. Johnny pretty much commandeered the episode, and it quickly became us trying to be hosts to Johnny interviewing us, and that's all I'm going to say. So if that doesn't tell you the dynamic already, the friend who we asked to help us test out this new thing we were super nervous about not only doesn't play the role he's supposed to, but takes our job in the process.
Listen, it wasn't that. It was a trial by fire. He knew that if we couldn't handle a guest that tries to hijack your show, you can't have a show. You need to be able to hold on to the reins when it gets out of hand.
That's exactly right. That was what I was
thinking.
And
that's just the thing about you, Johnny, that I have always, I think, admired and just really respected was you do a lot for your friends, more than I'd say you have to, but it never really seems like a choice to you. It seems like you always kind of just do it because it's a part of who you are. So that's why I'm really glad that we can actually kind of help you out right now. And hopefully our listeners are kind like they normally are to our musical guests, and they go and they listen to your new song. So before we get into all that, you are on here promoting your new single, Phantoms. And it's really good. I've had the pleasure of performing it with you before live at our bar gigs, which hopefully we get back to sooner than later. But before we get into all that, Johnny, why don't you just sort of paint the picture and, let people know why you're here, but not only the simple fact of us asking you to come on and because we really like your new song, but like what inspired you to take the creative path? Because you're you're in law school right now, but you're still really firing on all cylinders in this musical pursuit. And everyone knows law school is no short order. So, yeah, why don't you just take us down memory lane? Take us back, if you
How
will.
back?
Like all the way, like a
Okay.
first musical memory, man. Like
Way
paint the
back.
picture. We know you, but our hundreds of listeners each month don't, and I want them to.
It's interesting. I feel like a lot of people don't normally don't have a lot of experience explaining their entire life story, so it's pretty so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, just from a young age, I've obviously always liked music, like same as you guys, I assume. I remember being in the car and hearing "Good Riddance" by Green Day on the radio, and that was potentially like the first time I ever heard a song and thought like, wow, like to be able to feel something from a song was like the first time I felt like I ever connected to a song, honestly, even though I was definitely way too young to understand like what the song was about. And I remember getting an acoustic guitar when I was really young and learning power chords for the first time because they were the easiest thing to play. And then that was kind of all that I really did with the guitar for years. And then I don't know, like I spent probably my like middle school years writing like various songs. I never really thought of it anything as more than a hobby. I feel like the professionalism that's associated with music in terms of like recordings and like shows like that always like just growing up that felt like something that was so out of reach. Like I would hear a song on the radio and be like, there's no way I could ever record a song that like has this type of quality, because I guess that was like a little bit like around the time where like home studios were starting to become a thing. So for me it was always like, okay, I really like music, but I don't really see myself doing it as anything more than a career, because like how could I do that? Like how could I watch Billy Joe Armstrong play in front of thousands of people? Like no, that's just like he's not even a person. Like there's no way that that could ever be something for like someone like me to pursue or anything like that. No, but then um yeah, I remember being in high school and I was in a band with one of our friends, Chris Osorio, and he had me as a bassist because it was already a band that was established in high school. I was friends with Chris throughout middle school. We had jammed together a little bit, but nothing super crazy. And then I remember right when I joined the band, it was called, yeah, it's funny you put that up. It was called Flip the Scene actually, but then we later changed our name to Lakeside. And I remember
Oh, I didn't mean to.
Well, wasn't there something 22 before that?
something 22.
Flight 22 or
Oh,
something like
yeah,
that?
I briefly mentioned that. That was Flight 28 actually. That yeah, me and Chris had a band.
Oh, 28.
Yep.
Okay, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Flight
Yeah, 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 yeah.
That was
And
that was more of
but
a
I only
jam
bring it up
band.
because Chris was in that, right?
Yeah, that was me.
Like
Chris,
that's how far back you go with him. Yeah.
yeah, that was in seventh grade to maybe 9th, 10th grade. Like yeah, we had a band
And
called Flight
Chris is
28.
putting out music at some point next year, so he'll be on the show too. So this could be a cool little sort of hint.
Mm-hmm.
And also,
Right.
fun fact: Lakeside was
Foreshadowing.
shouted out on episode 9 by Mark of Hungover.
True.
Never forget that. So it's kind of cool that it's all coming full circle here. But yeah, Johnny, please continue.
Yeah, so I was in the band Flight 28 with Chris in middle school, and then we kind of stopped just playing music. I don't know, just for whatever reason. And then he was in another band that was called Flip the Scene, and he asked me to join as a bassist because they needed a bassist. I think their singer played bass, but then he transitioned to just singing. But then I remember joining the band, and it was like right after they recorded for the first time, and they showed me like the masters for their songs, and I thought like, wow, like the quality of these songs is like incredible, and it's crazy that anyone like that I know like could have recordings like that. It was like probably the first thing that my first experience with like, wow, you can actually do a lot more with music than just like playing in your basement or playing in your bedroom or just writing songs on your acoustic guitar. And then I also went, I saw them play with some of our other friends. And that was like, again, the first time where it was just like, wow, like you could do a lot, you could do a lot more than just being at your house with music. So then I feel like it was probably around that time when I started getting more serious with my own songwriting. Like I had always written songs, but I feel like I didn't really progress that much. Like I was kind of just writing the same simple stuff over and over, especially now at this point, I was around so many other creative people that it definitely inspired me. Obviously, like, like we have a lot of talented people in our circles. So a lot of that rubbing off on each other, especially when at the time, at least we were all pursuing the same thing musically. So then I feel like I just started being a lot more consistent. I started recording and writing a lot of my own songs. Like, luckily, we had a lot of home studios like within our circles that I would record at a little bit. And then it was pretty funny because I think I did a couple EPs or maybe a few EPs, and I didn't really take them seriously at all because, to be honest, back then I didn't think I was that good. As a matter of fact, I knew I wasn't that good. So when I would be like, oh, I could record a song at my friend's house, I'll try that out because I've never recorded vocals before. I've never recorded in a studio. I want to see what that's like. And then I would record the song, and they wouldn't charge me because they were just starting out. And I would just be like, okay, like I don't think this is that incredible, so I'm just going to kind of put it out. Like my first few like actual releases on Bandcamp at the time, like I didn't really take them super seriously. It was kind of just me being like, hey guys, here's this thing I did for fun. Like here's some songs. And people actually would, I guess it was also a little bit because I hadn't really ever sang. Like I hadn't ever really done vocals on a song like up until that point. So some people would actually be like, wow, that sounded really good. I didn't expect like you to sound like that. And then even though I still didn't think I was that good, that like inspired me to like try more. And then I remember we had a lot of like local venues in Poughkeepsie. And then one day, Mike Cohane, who I'm sure you know, he used to book shows around the area. And after putting out maybe like my third EP, I remember he contacted me one day and was like, hey, do you want to play the show? And I was like, oh, you mean with Lakeside, which is the band I was still in? He's like, no, like you solo. And I was like taken aback. I was like, what? You mean like you acknowledge me as an artist and you want me to play on this show? And he's like, yeah. So I was like, okay, cool. And then I was like, sure, I guess why would I say no to that? So I said I would play that show. And then luckily I have a lot of very good and very nice friends, and they came out to support me for my first show, and I thought it went really well. I thought it was really fun. And then, I don't know, since then, that was basically another point where I just started taking my releases more seriously. I remember putting out a song called The Only Thing Stopping Me. It was my first acoustic single that I ever actually promoted, and it wasn't like, there was no more of me just putting it out like the same day, just saying this was for fun. Like it was the first time I ever hyped up a song. I said, like, I announced it, I set a release date, I promoted it along the way. That got a lot of good feedback. And then since then, I just kept doing that. I put out an acoustic full length called The World, which it feels like it was like years ago. It feels like it was like decades ago, honestly, when I put that out. And then I remember I did a tour actually with you, Chris, and Luke Ferrara, literally right around the time when that album came out. That was probably like the second thing that I put out, taking it super seriously. At this point, like I definitely
remember that.
And that was the tour where I got fired from my job because I just didn't take off. I said, you know what? I don't like this place. You guys are mean. I'm just gonna leave. And then I got nervous that they were gonna fire me, and they did. But I should have went on the second half of the tour. And I didn't. So instead of going on like what you guys kept saying was the cool part, which I was really hoping for you guys to change the verbiage on that, but you never really did. Instead of going on the cool part, I instead got fired and drove home and sat on my couch for the rest of the weekend. But
God. Was that the job that
I was
you got
nervous
fired
about
from, the one that I worked at?
Yes, it was.
Nice.
Yeah. The one thing I do want to say though is that you almost suffered a career-ending injury on that tour.
That's right.
And it was, you know, sometimes when you're far away from home and you're traveling, if things happen, if things go bad, it's sure we know what to do. Call an ambulance, get to a hospital. But when you're just out of your element, miles away from home, hours away from home, it's tough when things like getting your hand slammed in a garage door, a car door by someone.
Yeah, who was the person? I don't remember who slammed my hand.
It was me. It was me. But the crazy part was in there, like the door closed and your hand was closed on it. And you just like, you didn't make a sound. You were just like, wait, my hand's in there. And it was just so surreal.
I could see that happening too. Just Johnny being like, I think my hand's in
it was
there.
like a thought bubble appeared above my head, and you just see like hand plus door equals question mark, and I was like contemplating it.
like in the early 2000s, like coming of age films when they would like be texting and the bubbles would pop up on the air and they'd have like all like the outdated sound effects. It was like that kind of moment, sort of like something out of an early Seth Rogen script. A humble brag, but I don't know what that's a humble brag for, but we'll go with it. Johnny, we also around that time, and I'm getting a little nostalgic here, but so forgive me if I take a moment. But we also, around that time, we're traveling, and Luke was such a good tour dad / headliner, wherein we'd be in the back seat. He drove the whole time, by the way, which was awesome. Second off,
his car?
Yeah, it was, but like still, he drove the whole time. And second off, Johnny and I were getting a little car restless, car sick, if you will. And so instead of listening to music, he let us play off of Netflix. I had downloaded one movie, which was Jurassic Park. And so he let us watch it in the back, but he let us play it through the car speakers. And he was like listening to it. And he was just like, dude, this is actually pretty tight. Like just listening to it. He was just such a good, accommodating host.
Wow.
And I kind of felt like you needed that,
did
Johnny.
you guys just watch that movie on repeat or something then?
I think we only watched like half of the movie, but it was still just the fun of Luke and Cone only getting the audio of Jurassic Park while we
and then in Maryland we spun Luke so hard on like an outdoor public play thing that he got like super dizzy, which wasn't fun. Anyways, I digress.
I don't remember that, but okay.
Remember it's when we got the $30 lobster dishes and stuff, which was so stupid to do on tour. We went to that like super expensive fish restaurant.
You guys paid $30 for a lobster.
Yeah, we got into like a 5-star restaurant. Luke brought us like this mad expensive fish joint.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
It was good, but
Definitely
it was ridiculous. And Johnny and I split food because we're like, yo, like this is crazy right now. But yes, we had a good time on that tour, Johnny. And I do want to let you keep going with your story. Also, I'm thinking with how much you just spoke, you might want to consider writing a book. Because
I'm giving you a long explanation. I realized it was way too long. I could cut it back a little bit from here on out.
That was
a
lot, but
myself.
But you know
it's
what?
Cool, Johnny. We're just gonna edit. We're gonna edit like 8 minutes of that out.
Yeah, exactly. Just the important parts.
I'll summarize the rest of it because honestly, it gets, I guess, a lot more simpler from here.
Well,
I mean, you told me to take it back. We could rewind this episode. You said start from the very beginning.
Listen, we told you to take it back. We didn't say give us A to Z.
Yeah, but you know what? Normally I am left wanting our guests to be a little more in depth. So I guess, be careful what you wish for. But Johnny, it seems to me that there was a very specific band by the name of Green Day who struck a chord with you at a very young age and kind of set you down this path to begin with. So I do want you, because I know this and I love this because they're also my favorite band. Well, I guess it alternates every other day with AC/DC, but they're top 1 and 2, of course. So like, what do they mean to you? And like, do you feel that you would be where you are right now in life because art is such a part of all of our lives without Green Day?
Well, yeah, honestly, I didn't really get too in depth with my actual musical inspiration, so that's a good question. But no, I don't think I'd be doing music really, like probably at all, if I didn't listen to Green Day. And honestly, it was kind of like weird because up until like middle school, even like late middle school, they were like, I feel like I wasn't exposed to a lot of rock bands like them. Like I didn't really listen to bands like Blink-182 or like Sum 41 or any bands like that until like high school. I didn't even really know that they existed. Like, I don't know. Maybe it was just, I think it was kind of just because my parents were like, oh, he likes a Green Day song, so let's just give him Dookie, and then let's give him Insomniac and Nimrod. Let's just give him every Green Day album so that's all he knows. And obviously they have a vast discography, so like it was kind of just that I would listen to, and then like some classic rock, which I still like throughout middle school.
Sounds like your parents hit the mother load. They were just like,
it honestly was at the
anytime
point.
Johnny needs a gift.
Yeah, they were like, oh, this band has 14 albums? Okay, perfect. We got at least 3 years off there.
Yeah, exactly. They're just like sitting at home, and then all of a sudden one of them's like, isn't Johnny's birthday in 2 days? And they're like, shit. They're like, what Green Day album haven't we gotten him? Yeah, great.
It was
fantastic.
It was at the point. It was
Bring him American Idiot.
No,
Get
yeah,
him the tickets
obviously
to the Broadway show.
That was right around the time American Idiot came out. Like, honestly, I started listening to them probably like a year before American Idiot came out. And then, like, like American Idiot was huge in like my elementary school, which is crazy now, like the context and like the details of what they're
That's such a sentence that Green Day definitely didn't plan on, or at least wasn't trying to get. Was like Green Day was what was it? American Idiot was huge in my elementary school.
No, yeah, for sure. No, but
all
that's
the second graders, third graders.
Funny metric of success.
Yeah. What album was being played during recess?
Did you imagine the headline? Success? Elementary school students in a craze over the new Green Day record nationwide. Like,
demand more recess.
But you're right. I remember I got in trouble because all the kids would play Green Day on Vimeo because they blocked YouTube back in the day on our computers. But we found the Boulevard of Broken Dreams video on Vimeo, and so and they eventually had to line the computers up in a way that like the teacher could peer across the room at any time and see what was on the screens because kids were just watching Green Day like so much. And the word of the day, kids would always pick Green Day as like the word of the day. It was hilarious, man. So yeah, huge part for some reason of my public schooling is Green Day, which is so just not synergistic if you think about it. But I digress. Johnny, yeah. So your musical influences, obviously, Green Day was a huge one, but as you've grown and you've sort of matured, the art matures with you. So what are some of your other musical influences?
Well, yeah, up until probably like middle school, early high school, like it was mainly just Green Day and then like classic rock, and it was to the point where I didn't even really know that there were other bands like them. And then I remember in high school, it was the first time I was ever introduced to like Blink-182, and I remember hearing like the Wonder Years for the first time, being like, "Wow, this is really cool." But that was back when I was playing more like pop punk music, and then I feel like I stopped so much listening to just what people were showing me. Like my friends would maybe be like, "Oh, here's a cool band," and I'd like them, and that was still a thing. But like I started branching out and being like, "Oh, I like this. Like I like this band. This is a band that I found. So now what's a band that sounds like them?" And then I just feel like I started kind of solidifying my own taste and my own sound, which it's kind of weird. Like I don't even really know how to describe it. Like I consider myself kind of like a folk, like pop rock artist. Honestly, on like a song by song basis, it kind of depends. Some songs it's like this is totally pop rock, and some it's like this is a little bit more folk. So like it's hard to pin down. But I do feel like a lot of my influence now is a lot of like indie pop rock type bands that some are, I guess, more well known than others. It also kind of depends because there are like some huge pop artists who I like too. Like I'm a decent Billie Eilish fan, for example. Um, but yeah, I don't know. There's like a variety. It's kind of just basically just whatever I think sounds good. Like I don't know. It's weird. It's weird to say like that, but I feel like lots of indie rock, lots of pop rock. As far as specific artists, um, I really like obviously I'm a pretty big Lady Lamb fan, so that's a good example. She's a pretty good indie rock artist.
Yeah, she's
I really
awesome.
like I really like The Regrets. They're another band that's up there. Um,
I
yeah,
literally
I mean,
never
I
heard
don't
you
know.
speak about that band.
I could go on my phone and just read
John,
artists if you want.
Johnny,
It's
do
No,
you
always
no, no.
harder
That's
to.
that's
do you,
we're
Oh
getting the
yeah,
gist here.
I'm a big Bad
John,
Sons fan too. Yeah, there we go.
you like that Billie Eilish reference in there though?
I do.
Bad
That's
guys
really
and
clever.
bad sons. Come on, come on.
I
Visual
mean, I don't
bits.
know. I always feel
Preaching,
like
but you'll get
when
there.
people say what bands do you like, that's always hard for me to say. When people say what artists do you like, I sometimes I like forget, like even when I'm listening to my Spotify, like, oh, I
Oh, I
forgot about
thought you were
this
gonna
artist. Like I
say
don't know.
when
It's always
people say
hard.
what bands do you like, that's difficult. But when people say what artists do you like, you're like, all right, how much time do you have?
No,
Anyway,
no, it's
Johnny,
not. They're both hard questions.
I'm starting to
Like
get the
what?
picture.
What even is
I'm
a
just
band?
Johnny. Here's what I'm trying to do right now. Okay,
What are you
full
trying to do?
transparency. Forget that we're podcasting right now. God knows I have.
Already
So
forgot.
yeah, it's my memory is shot, dude. Listen, what I'm trying to do right now is I'm trying to make you deeper than just the music we're going to play at the start and the end of the show. I want people to be like, "Oh, cool." When I listen, so they heard the sample at the beginning of the episode, right? And they're like, "Okay, they're intrigued. It's good, obviously. We wouldn't have you on if it wasn't." Trust me. Chris Cerulli's been banging down our door to get on. I'm just kidding, Chris. You can come on whenever you want. I'm just kidding.
Awkward.
Phenomenal musician. Anyways, he doesn't answer my text often, so maybe I'm a little bitter. Anyways, like I said, I forgot I'm podcasting, but also what I'm trying to do is get them to at the end of the episode when we play the full version of the song, right? Be like, damn, dude, all that he said, I hear that in there. That makes sense. I get that. So let's keep painting the picture and not stay on one beat for too long, but really dive in and explore things. So, with that being said, Johnny, you kind of have been talking about this time of your life, but there's a place where it all happened. And I always felt like your generation, you, Chris Cerulli, Chris Osorio, right? All the musicians that were awesome from your age group, but still like 2 years back in the day, like when I was in high school, you were still in middle school. That's like a bit of a difference. I The chance for me in Poughkeepsie was such a huge melting pot, a way to hear all these different types of musical voices from the area, different genres coming together and fusing. And it was a huge sort of jumping off point to solidify like my growth and what I wanted to do and strategies of learning how to promote and all the things that you need to do if you want to professionally pursue music or at least be professional about the music you make, like we're all doing here. But you guys kind of like, I don't know if you feel that way about the chance or if you feel that more so about My Place Pizza, which for people who don't know in our area, when the chance started to sort of fall apart for reasons like, promoters coming and going and just, you know, the scene sort of starting to thin. There's so many different reasons why a venue starts to lose money. You guys kind of, though, I felt really took across the street, we had a smaller venue. My Place Pizza was just a pizza place where shows went on, but we would still pack out like 300-400 people sometimes on an illegally packed out night with the 400 in that place for a few years after the legitimate venue where national acts would come through. So like, what part of that do you really feel you benefited from? Because your work ethic and the way you approach your art and how seriously you take it, it has all the signs of growing up in that system. I always describe it as like how baseball players go through farm systems and whatnot. It always felt like that to me, because we had the older bands like We Are the In Crowd and Just Surrender and Matchbook Romance who were signed to national acts, right? So we obviously had some of that trickle down mentality philosophy, but you guys were kind of on the tail end of that. So where does that impact your growth, and do you even like think about it like I do? Like, do you look back on it and be like, without that I would have none of these formative musical opinions and thoughts?
A little bit. I feel like I probably don't think of it quite as the same way you do, for reasons like you kind of stated about how me
Yeah.
kind of coming into the scene on the tail end. I definitely feel like it obviously was great experience for playing live, because that you did, even towards the end of it, you did still have shows with a lot of people that a lot of people are going to, and I still was able to, like, we played at the Chance once, at least with me in the band. We played at the Loft a handful of times, so we still got into that. It definitely also gave me a lot of experience with networking too, and just like how to just talk to people about music without like, and just have it be casual, because that's kind of just what it was at a lot of those shows. Everyone's just talking to each other as friends. We all feel like we all already know each other, even if we've never met. But I guess for me, it also is kind of just like, I don't want to say that period, not that period like generally, but that period of time for me was it kind of almost felt like it was like the introduction for me, or like my trial stage, because obviously a lot went on there, and like I was playing at those venues with Lakeside, and they're like some of the most talented people I've ever played music with. So I don't want to minimize that in any way. But then for me, it felt like with my music, I didn't really start actually getting stuff going until like well after that. It kind of feels like now, like looking back on when I first played my shows there now, when I only had like a couple EPs that I barely took seriously, like it does not feel like I'm nearly the same artist that I was like then, like at all. So for me, it kind of felt like that was like the beta test for my solo music, in a way. But yeah, I mean, then after that, I just started taking it more and more seriously. And then I started taking voice lessons, and I've been taking voice lessons now for over 2 years. And I feel like that's benefited me a lot. So I feel like those shows probably kind of kicked me off, sort of. I feel like if I didn't grow up in a scene like that, if I didn't grow up having all of the friends that I do that play music, it definitely, like, even no matter how much I liked those bands growing up, and no matter how much I wanted music as a hobby, I definitely don't think I'd be the only person. Like, if my friends weren't making music videos, I wouldn't have made music videos. I don't think I would have just thought, like, where can I find a professional videographer to make me this video? Like, it's definitely because of the scene that I was growing up in. As far as like the specific venues, maybe not as much, but just like the pool of people and like the Poughkeepsie scene, that definitely is kind of what I feel like kind of jump started my motivation to kind of just do my own thing.
Yeah, so even
I
though
have a quick question about My Place Pizza. Quick, how long did it take you to realize that it was carpeted?
Carpeted.
That's
I can't
that's
really
actually
remember
a
what
good
the
question.
floors really looked like there. I mean, now, like,
Because
right now.
yeah, okay, cool. Because when Austin told me, I didn't believe him, and then I went and I was like, what?
Yeah, carpeted pizza place. You don't see
Kind
that
of
every
weird.
day. No,
Yeah.
but Johnny, it kind of seems like you got the mentality, but you kind of missed out on the explosiveness of the shows. You missed out on 4 Year Strong selling out the Chance on a Thursday night. Stopped happening a little bit after you got there, which maybe is for the better in some
I
regards.
mean, I went to some cool shows at the Chance still. Like, I saw City Lights and like With the Punches, and like those were fun shows at the time. But
That's
yeah,
true.
yeah,
With the
definitely
Punches
more
were the
towards the
local
end of it.
heroes for sure.
I was gonna say,
That's another one of
seeing
those
With the
bands that I
Punches
should
at
have
the
brought up
Chance
earlier.
is like a Poughkeepsie checklist thing.
Yeah, that's another huge one, and especially because, in my opinion, they were some of the nicest guys out of the ones that really did the national thing for a little while. So, no, I hear all that, man. So, I do want to move a little forward now, unless first, if you felt there was anything in your journey to where we are right now that you left out, this would be your moment, Johnny, to get
No,
that
If
I
it's
in.
talked so much.
if it's important,
Johnny, you're
First 10 minutes
supposed to
of this
talk so
episode.
much. You are the guest.
the
Also
show's
this
called
episode, the
Talkin.
show's called Talkin. There we go.
Yeah, exactly. So do you feel there's anything you left out, or is it cool if I hit you with the next segment of our interview here?
I mean, in terms of just like the chronological story, I feel like we're right at the point where then like everything after that is more important, I feel like, to discuss now. Yeah, I think we're good in terms of uh, like the age, the time I first tied my shoes and stuff like that. I don't think
Okay.
we
Okay. I
need that
mean,
in this
look,
episode.
dude. So real quick, Johnny, Andrew, you think we're good? Can we move forward?
Is there anything you want to know about my childhood,
Okay, next
Andrew?
segment. Not a
Speak
good bit for the
now.
audio listeners, but a great one for the video listeners. Again, guys, that is
That's what I do.
youtube.com/talking with Andrew and Chris. Again, that is
I
youtube.com/talking with
don't
Andrew and
I don't
Chris.
I don't mean to favor the video watchers, but it's just a lot easier for me to come up with a visual bit than an audio bit, you know.
Right, fair enough, because clearly speaking doesn't get us anywhere. Anyways, with that being said, I want to
Ouch.
sort of, while we're talking about YouTube and videos and whatnot, Johnny, you've kind of been, I think, whether you know it or not, practicing your directorial and cinematography eye a little bit lately. And I've been really impressed with how far your videos have come and the ideas you've implemented in them. So I know it's all about the music, and the only reason that you create videos is to help give a visual aid to your songs because you want people to hear them, and people like music videos, shout out MTV. But like, what has the process been for you in crafting your music videos, and has it become sort of a passion in its own right to you, or do you just see it as a tool? I'm curious, like, talk all
I mean,
about that,
honestly, it's interesting because I remember I did a few music videos just like with me and my guitar, like for acoustic songs, and those are all right. It was just mainly performance. And then I remember you actually, because you were working with Dylan Eckes, who we both know, and you did a music video for one of your songs, and it was full band. The quality was amazing, and that was like one of the first times where I was like, wow, you could have like professional video quality like that too. Like, that's awesome. So then I remember I started doing videos like that for my own full band songs because I mainly did acoustic for a bit, and then I transitioned to more full band. So I did a few videos with him, and they were mainly just all performance. You were in some of them, even like you played guitar in one, you played bass in another. So yeah, you
hell
have
yeah.
an experience about that as well. But yeah, so I did a few videos that were mainly just performance because I feel like when I was first starting to do music videos, there was always the whole idea of like you could do a plot, but like it's hard to do a plot and have it not be corny. And that was like something that I feel like a lot of people would think, like it's hard to do a serious plot and have it like come off as serious and how you intend it. And I feel like that kind of deterred me for a bit, but then I kind of started thinking like, okay, I can't like on the one hand, I can't just do performance videos. Like eventually I have to do something else. Otherwise, like it's harder to bring anything in that's new if it's just performance. So then I feel like also just seeing other artists, like seeing like bigger artists doing plots, and then I just started being like, I feel like I could do that. So I'm trying to think, what was the first video I had that
Any
actually
bands
had.
that like really you think influenced your cinematic eye more so than others?
Well, honestly, I mentioned Billie Eilish before. Like seeing her music videos, specifically for her album, in terms of like how horror-esque they kind of were, that really inspired me because I'm a big horror fan. Like I was a big horror movie fan growing up, and then I thought like, wow, I've never seen like there were some like obviously like there's Thriller like that kind of had horror vibes, but like in the mainstream now, like just I don't know, like her video for Bury a Friend, for example, that's like a crazy like horror movie music video. So that kind of first like inspired the plot that I had for my music video for my song Erase Me, that the song I think came out over a year ago at this point, if I'm correct. Or maybe the song was 2 years ago or something. I don't know. The music video I think was about a year ago. And that was the first music video that I got super creative with. It was actually all plot and there was no performance. It was really daunting. But luckily I was doing it with a friend of mine, Mike Durante, who we basically like we
We
were
know him.
both
We know
in it
Mike.
together. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah.
We have worked
Shout
with
out,
Mike,
shout
the
out the doc.
wizard.
We
But
used to
yeah,
call him the
so
doctor because that's how good he was. He would save our songs with his videos. He'd heal them right up.
but yeah, so
That's such a
um
clip. That is such a clip right there. No one said anything. Yeah, keep going. I'm
Oh
loving this
my
episode, man. We
god.
are just shooting from the hip right now.
Wait, Johnny, which is the video that you have with that weird end credit scene?
Oh,
the
the
Slenderman
Slenderman
one?
one up in the woods
That's
behind.
the one with Wow, that obviously wasn't planned at all.
Wasn't planned at all. I actually don't know.
Can
I
we?
did
So
actually want to know which video it was though.
yeah,
That
I
was
do
Here
want to
Lies
get.
Hope.
Yeah, okay,
Okay.
so Johnny, let's take a quick little sidestep here and sort of talk about, because I remember we shot that with Dylan and his brother, Jordan was there. And so they were sort of working together on it. And they both kind of, correct me if I'm wrong, they both saw the costume and they were like, dude, that has to be in the video. Like they just thought it was so, it is such an amazing costume. So why don't you real quick sort of like
pretty
talk
much
about
the
that?
best. It's pretty much the best morph suit you could have picked.
Well, I remember leading up to the video because we were shooting in a field, like a ton of brush, kind of around the area. So I think we were kind of joking, like we should put SlenderManna in the background for some of it, and like, or we should have SlenderManna just in part of the song. And it was kind of just a joke, but we all kind of secretly wanted it to happen, like at least everyone in the band. And I had a SlenderManna morph suit, obviously, and I brought that with me. And throughout the video, like Dylan, it was my first time doing like a serious shoot, so I didn't want to like just bring up SlenderManna to this guy who's here like to do my serious music video. And I feel like I passively, like kind of as a joke, brought it up a few times, and he would just dismiss it every time. Be like, haha, yeah, we'll totally do that. Just like the sort of thing where I'm like, all right, guys, it's not happening. He's not going to be about it. And then we finished shooting, like we finished filming the song, we were packing up, and then you guys were just telling me to just put on the suit. It's like, I'm not just going to put on the suit now. That'd be super weird. But then Greg Mealy, who played drums, super talented guy, he played drums in that music video, and he just was like, I'll put it on. So he put on the SlenderManna suit, and they were like, the videographer, Dylan and Jordan, they were packing up. And then they just look at Greg wearing the SlenderManna suit, and they were like, dude, that is the sickest thing ever. And they just started posing
like,
him.
We gotta
like
get
they started posing him, and they were just taking, they preemptively, we didn't say anything. They started taking B-roll of him, and then they were showing us, and we're like, dude, look how creepy this is. And I was like, all right, like we should put a shot of SlenderManna just after the credits. Then that ended up happening. And
hey Johnny, do you want to plug your YouTube channel right now? And can you give me verbal permission so YouTube doesn't take this down, that I can play a clip of it?
Yes, thank you. You hereby have my permission to plug
I actually had to do that. YouTube is that crazy.
Johnny, thank you for reiterating the important words also when you said yes.
Yeah. So guys, this is the video itself. Hopefully you guys can hear it. But
pull it back a couple seconds.
This is a 2016 song.
We'll give it like a, this is from 2016. Johnny's sound has evolved quite a bit. You can see me in the video. We'll pull it back just to like about the last chorus. Hopefully it's not too loud for you guys.
We're not hearing anything.
Can you guys hear it?
I can't.
I can't hear it.
You can hear it, Johnny?
No, I can't.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I'll have to redo the screen grab. We can edit this part out. It's, it's so finicky what they let you hear. Oh, here we go. Share audio. It would help if I clicked that. LOL. Okay, here we go. Tell me if you guys should. What a freeze frame. Got myself in the process, didn't I? All right. Well, you guys should be able to hear it now.
Yep.
But totally, man. Like, we have some high quality music videos in our area, dude. Like, this is cinematic.
Yeah. Oh damn! Is that Jake Albee?
Yeah.
It is.
Nice.
He'll be on the show in a few weeks.
All right. Viewer discretion advised.
It's just so random. Like it
Dude, I
forgot
about the fingers. I forgot that the fingers were correct.
I love that. So Johnny, real quick, because you actually got me into horror films and whatnot, and I do want to get back to like, we'll work it up to Phantoms from this, but like, you're not just a one-note guy. Not most people aren't. You're going to law school right now. You do a lot of other cool stuff, but like, to me, if someone had to ask me like, what are like 3 things that Johnny really cares about, I'd be like, well, horror's got to be one of them. So why don't you speak to that real quick? Am I wrong? Am I right?
Well, yeah,
Am
you're
I
right.
in the middle?
Like, you said it. I never really consider myself like a movie guy. Like, it's kind of just always been like, oh, I like horror movies. Like as a kid, they scared me. So then that gave me the motivation to want to like conquer them. Like it's actually like, I remember having like really bad nightmares about Night of the Living Dead, the original, like when I was really young, and Freddy versus Jason too. That was like a huge movie that like everyone my age would watch. And I'd always be mad that I wasn't allowed to watch it. And then I remember like, when I was finally, I don't even know why, but when I was like 10 years old, which isn't that much older than like 7 when I couldn't watch that movie, but when I was 10, like I just randomly would just go on YouTube, and I would just like, I remember watching like every one of the original Nightmare on Elm Streets, like from 1 to like 6, like they made a lot of those movies. And I remember just like, I would just sit and just watch like every horror movie I could find. I would just be at 10 years old, just like watching Freddy versus Jason, just like in my bedroom that was recorded on like a VHS. So, I don't know, like it was just something that I just wanted to like digest a lot of when I was really young. And then I don't know, I got older, and it was always a genre that I really liked, like especially just hanging out with friends, especially when you're younger, late at night. And like maybe this doesn't happen as much now, but when everyone has like a middle school sleepover when you watch a horror movie, and then everyone's like scared to leave to go to the bathroom after the horror movie's over, Like, I don't know. I always liked that type of thing. I always liked the idea that like horror movies, it was the one genre that like it can accomplish its goal as a movie too well to the point where no one wants to watch it. Like that's something you don't get with other movies. Like there's never like that comedy is way too funny, I can't watch it right now. Like if you're in the mood for a comedy, you want the funniest comedy, but like with horror all the time, it's like no, I can't watch that movie. Like that movie, like it's not a good time for me to watch that movie. That's just something that I feel like always just really interested me about the genre, and it kind of still does.
Yeah, I can hear Dom screaming at you right now if he hears that clip. But I agree with what you just said.
At me.
Johnny, seeing as you just brought up horror and comedy, I just saw a movie that was described to me as a horror comedy that I'm going to ask you if you've seen. Have you seen An American Werewolf in London?
Yeah, I never really thought of that as a comedy. That's interesting. It has comic relief,
I
but I
mean,
never thought of it as a comedy.
It was directed by the guy that did Animal House.
Interesting. No, I like that movie.
Landis. I just saw it for the first time this past week, and I thought it was pretty wild in a good way. And
I think.
Would you recommend it?
I would definitely recommend it. It's pretty. The pacing is really done well because it feels like it's a short movie, even though it's like 97 minutes or something like that, which I guess is kind of short. But
as a werewolf movie too, I think it's really good.
And it's like known for like having like the best werewolf transformation scene in like any werewolf movie. And little known fact, I don't know if it's little known, but fun fact, that movie won the first Oscar for best makeup because that was the year that the category was invented.
Didn't know that. It's cool.
Yeah, Johnny. So you know what else is pretty cool? Your new video for Phantoms. I haven't seen too much of it, and you don't have to do this, but there is a private chat option here, and you could send us the unlisted YouTube link, and we could play a little snippet of it.
Oh, the video's posted now. And it's not that's an okay mistake, but the video that I just put out is for a song called Fragile, and Phantom is the new song that's coming out on the 13th.
Okay, gotcha. Okay,
the video for Fragile is posted. That's public as of the 30th of October, so you could find that.
Word. If I pull that up and we play a few seconds of it, would you kind of want to sort of give some backstory on like the filmmaking process and talk about it a little bit? Would that be something you'd be into?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I wish we had more time. We only have like 18 minutes left. Crazy.
I mean, we don't, dude. We'll
no,
dude.
This
stream,
don't feel stressed, man.
This stream will end in 18 minutes, whether we like it or not.
I remember.
I'm enjoying this, but pull it up. That's fine.
Yeah,
I have to leave in exactly 18 and a half minutes.
Yeah, now we only have 17 minutes and 17 seconds.
God damn it.
So hopefully you guys can hear it. But yeah, let's watch like maybe a minute and a half of this since it's like a 5-minute video, and we'll sort of is that all right? You think that's enough time or?
No, yeah, that's good.
Okay, cool.
Do you have the audio shared again?
Are you not hearing it?
Maybe it's just really quiet.
Oh, YouTube. Well, I'm not doing any editing, so people are just going to have to be along for the ride on this one, it seems.
I mean, the song isn't
here
playing
we go.
at that part.
Gotcha.
There is some sound.
Yeah, there is, and it sounds awesome. Now you got it, right?
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, so clearly I diverged from performance videos, unless you call Flint like an instrument.
That's actually Flint, like that's not practical. That's like practical. That's not VFX right there.
No, that's real. I don't know if that's actually called Flint, but it's definitely real.
But is that what that tool is used for? Is just a spark?
It's to make fires.
Then yeah.
Cool. See, I would never know that type of thing.
It's impressive.
This is awesome, dude.
Dude, yeah, that's a great shot.
You guys got to go and watch the full video right now if you're seeing this. And if you're on audio, the link's in the description to his YouTube channel.
This is definitely the example of like how like horror and music videos has like shaped me wanting to do the same.
Where did you film this?
We filmed it in a bunch of different locations.
Is this the Dover Stone Church?
No.
Oh, okay.
How cold was that water, Johnny?
I think this is New Paltz. I think honestly, we filmed in like 5 different locations, so I can't even remember like each specific. That water was freezing, Andrew. Freezing. It's like 20 degrees. and you're about to.
Yeah,
Never
well,
mind. I won't spoil
good
it.
on you for still splashing on your face. I would have been like, do I have to do that? Can't I just like?
Oh, we didn't even get
take a
to the
sip?
other music video. I'd do something much worse.
Much worse. Oh wow. Wow.
Such a contrast here in regards to the visuals and the music.
Yeah, absolutely.
Till the end. I'm so grateful that you'll join me for the last night of our lives. I'll walk in the same, but I'm onto your game. So just please don't complain when I don't think to call your name.
Dude, this is all so well done.
Yeah.
We walked in head high, there's no room to.
Like, if I didn't already know who that was, I'd be like, dude, did you get a professional Hollywood makeup artist, dude? That looks really good.
It's not a mask?
No, it's not. It's makeup.
Oh.
Yeah, that's my friend Carissa. She's great.
That's your friend Carissa in the makeup or doing the makeup?
In the makeup. This really talented makeup artist, Laura Cena, did the makeup.
We live such fragile lives. The wait is over, so let's take
Yeah, I gotta give this a thumbs up.
Yeah, you gotta give it a thumbs up. Give him a subscribe if you haven't.
Oh, I have. Notifications turned on and everything.
Nice. You don't want to save this to your favorites?
All right, man, let's not get ahead of ourselves here. My favorite, no offense, Johnny, my favorites is a coveted spot. So, guys, what I'm seeing there is not only does Johnny sort of game plan these things, produce them. Obviously, Dylan's the cinematographer, but it all comes. I mean, not Dylan. Sorry, Lawton in this video. Yeah. Either way, the cinematographer. Obviously, you can't be in the shot and compose the shot, but you're a big part of all of it. And it seems like you really, like you said, splashing cold water on your face, being dragged in the dirt. You know, it's you're going all out there for your art, man. Like, talk about the headspace you have to get into to do these videos, because you're not like. It's not like you just like rented a studio and you're standing in there for like an hour and just whatever it is, it is. You know, you're putting some TLC into this. Tender love and care for all you guys who don't know that.
I mean, like I always liked the idea of I always liked film. Like I liked horror movies. I've always liked the idea of at some point like writing, like maybe not as a career, but just like as a hobby, and just seeing
Johnny,
how things go. Just writing.
Why do you think I made you speak about horror movies, man? But like, let the people in, dude. You know, I know what I'm doing here, but you gotta like, you know, you gotta let them drink, man. You let them to water now. Let them take a drink. I'm just messing with you, Johnny. I'm
content,
sorry.
Johnny.
Okay.
Give us the content.
You. No, keep going. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It was pretty cool to be like, wow, I can now use my music videos to like experiment a little bit with like small term acting and like actually like maybe not writing scripts because I don't really have lines aside from the lyrics, but just like writing my own like scenes basically and writing separate stories. Like it's basically like music videos. It gives you kind of the ability to like experiment in a whole other creative world besides music. So that's kind of what excited me about getting more creative with my music videos, because then suddenly it was like, wow, I can do so much more, and it's so much fun. It's so fun to me, like especially like it's so fun for me to experiment with acting, even though I don't have like a lot of acting experience to begin with. But yeah, and then there was that video that was one of my more creative ones, and then another music video for my song "Erase Me" that actually ends with me getting possessed and walking into a lake fully clothed until the water's above my head.
Like we're not going to give it away too much here, but guys, go.
Was that cold also?
It was like 50 degrees when we did it, so it wasn't as cold as in the video we just watched, but it was pretty cold. That was a really fun video too. The whole plot is like like that's also no performance. It's like my friends are getting possessed and then they're attacking me and then I get possessed. Like I don't know, it was just a time where I was just like, all right, I just want to do like a weird music video. Like I just want to, like, performance is great, and I'll probably still.
But there's only so much you can do with that, and you can only make the same video in different locations so many times. Trust me and Andrew when we say we know that.
Yeah,
and you know that too. The listeners need to know that we've been friends for a while, so there are things that we know about each other that obviously needs to be said. But with that being said,
exposition.
It's called exposition, Johnny, which your videos have. I've never confused with the plot lines. And, so I wanted to ask you two things. The first being, has this sort of cinematic involvement in your musical process, because for the most part lately at least you've put out a video with every song, or at least every song that I've seen you really push and go all out for, has that sort of dictated the writing process anymore? Has it made you think more visually when writing your lyrics, or has it made you pace your chord progressions differently? Has it affected you at all that you can like think of, maybe subconsciously, sure, but I'm just curious because like I said, you're not just doing the generic cookie cutter, band in a abandoned warehouse playing type thing, like some people I know have done.
A little bit. I feel like a lot of the times it's like it's not until I'm actually recording the song in the studio when I like once I get the full effect of how the song actually came out, transitioning to full band, where I start thinking of visuals. Sometimes it happens a little bit in the writing process, but I definitely feel like in the last couple of years in general, as far as my writing goes, it's gotten more personal. There have been a lot less times where I kind of just make up words to finish a verse or something, or where I just write what I think sounds cool. It's been a lot more of actually being about my own personal experiences. There was always a little bit of that going back, but there was also a lot that wasn't quite like that. And then now it feels a lot more consistent. It feels like I'm a lot better at getting into the headspace to write a song. It feels like I'm a lot better at knowing when it's a good time for me to write a song. I don't find myself as much having to like force ideas out, even though sometimes that's still necessary. But I just feel like everything I'm doing songwriting wise, it's not perfect by any means, obviously, but it's like the most real it's ever been. And I feel like that's probably inspired me to want to get more creative with my videos and make them real to me as well, and make them be about something that like I want them to be about and to do, instead of just leaving it all to the videographer, which sometimes you still should do. Like it's definitely inspired me to want to take charge a little bit more, so that I know what like the shots are going to look like, and I just kind of know what message it's going to be putting across. So it's been great to see that, to have that develop for me in videos and in my writing. I have a lot more fun writing songs now than I used to. It doesn't feel as much like a chore. It feels like, wow, like especially being a law student too. Like I wasn't sure if that was going to make music harder to do, because like suddenly my brain is focusing on something completely different than music. Like literally there's no music in law. Like I don't know. So but instead it's kind
There's
of
no
just like
law in music.
if there can be. It depends on the genre, I guess.
There can be. That was a very stupid statement.
Kind of depends on who you ask.
Cut.
Yeah.
Cut. Can we?
All right, let's run that back, Johnny. Can you run that back from a couple lines ago?
Line check. Oh man. Well, you know all these things being a
Sorry,
filmmaker. Yeah, Johnny, keep going though, man. I liked where you're heading with that.
I'm sorry about Chris.
It's okay. Don't be sorry. What was I even talking about? To like writing songs.
Being a law student and there's no.
Yeah. So now it's like I get out of class and it's like, okay, I just was reading criminal law or torts for hours, which can still be interesting. But then now it's like I want to write a song. Now it's like I feel like there's nothing wrong with music being the only thing you're doing, but I feel like for a lot of people, and this probably happened to me too before I was a law student in my gap year between undergrad and law school, like when music was almost all I was doing besides just like working part-time, it was harder. Like it feels like I'm gonna just get up and try music and like work on music and just think about music, and that's great too, but then it feels like you can get stuck in like sort of like a tunnel vision, and then it just feels like it feels more like a job and less as a hobby, obviously, but like that doesn't even necessarily mean if you're doing something else it turns it into a hobby, but like you just have like more, like you appreciate it more. I feel like now I get out of class and I'm just like I want to write a song. It's no more of like I have to write a song or I should write a song. It's more like there's nothing that I want more right now than to go upstairs and take out my guitar after just doing that group discussion about like a Supreme Court case for 2 hours. Now it's like I just want to be able to just play chords and just like write melodies to them, and it makes it like kind of more real to me too, because I feel like it just puts me in a good mood whenever I'm playing music now. Not that I wasn't in a good mood before, but like it's more consistent with just how I'm feeling.
No, that totally makes sense, man. So we're running low on time here, and I feel like we're at a good place to talk about your new single, Phantoms. Is there a music video? Can we expect anything sort of on your Instagram and stuff special that you're going to be doing to promote it? And of course, obviously, tell us
Is
like all about the song, what inspired it, sort of the meaning, or anything you want us to know, where we can find it. Now's your chance to let people know. Because today the song came out, guys, so it's really nice. You can sort of pair this interview with the song or this song with the interview. So yeah, Johnny, Andrew, sorry, did you want to say something real quick? I don't want to monopolize too much.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that he addresses the question that I'm sure every fan listening is going to want to know. Will Slenderman be making an appearance in the next video?
Yeah, so Johnny, why don't you sort of address all of these this banquet of questions Andrew and I have just laid in front of you?
Well, I definitely
Mine
wouldn't
being the
wanna rule
most
out
important.
Slenderman. I definitely wouldn't rule it out. But I definitely
Good.
can't say it's definitely gonna happen, but can't say for sure it won't.
Never
But
say never.
yeah, so yeah, I've in the past like year or so, like you know this, Chris, I've been writing just like so much, and obviously there's a lag time a lot of times between when you write a song and when you record it. So it feels like Phantom, which is coming out on November 13th, which is a Friday the 13th. So I kind of like that. I'm calling it Phantom and putting it out on that day. But that to me is like the first song out of the giant batch that I've written in the past 2 years that kind of like when I was talking before about how my writing has gotten a lot more personal and a lot more real, like every song I've written since then, like a lot of them haven't even came out yet. I consider Phantom the first song out of that batch to be coming out. So that is something that I'm really excited for. Like I'm excited for people to get to hear that. The song
New
is
era, right? It's like you feel like you've sort of reached a new level in your ability as a songwriter.
in my writing as well as like I mentioned, I've been taking voice lessons for over 2 years now, and I feel like this is one of the first songs that has been like written and recorded more recently, enough for that to show more than it potentially has in like previous releases. So it's just been nice for me to see my progress, and I hope that other people get that as well. But yeah, so it's a full band song. It's called Phantom. It's with my very talented friend Amanda Shuttleworth. She's great. She sings on it, and yeah, her voice is incredible. And so I wrote that song in probably spring of 2019, I believe. It was right when I graduated undergrad. So I was kind of in like a weird, like somewhat like existential crisis of like, oh, I just finished college for the first time in my life. I don't have school in like the very near future to look forward to. For the first time, I have to like do something that isn't obviously that didn't end up staying that way for too long because I'm in law school now. But like at the time, it was kind of it was kind of like a very like self-reflecting time for me, and I feel like that's kind of what like went a lot into that song. So yeah, I'm also in a position now where having all of that material saved up, I am trying to just be more consistent with my releases. So I have that song coming out, then I have new material that I'm hoping to have out December-ish, and then I'm hoping to just keep the momentum going. So I see Phantom as kind of like the start of that, and the start of it's my first musical like release that isn't a music video, like my first new content song wise that's coming out since being a law student. So I feel like it's the beginning of me like officially keeping or trying to keep the momentum with my music, also being in law school. So it's an exciting time for me, and it also the fact that I'm in school and doing music, it makes me not worry much about how people react to my music. It makes it more fun to just have me put it out, because that's not where all of my stake is. Like it's weird to think that way, but like because I'm doing something else too, I don't want music to falter because of that, but it makes music more fun to me, and it makes me able to just put content out consistently, and like who cares if people don't like the song, because I like the song. And like I don't know, like I have enough going on where I don't worry about the reception as much. I'm just able to just do it, and it makes it more fun for me, and I feel like it makes me like what I'm doing more. So I'm really excited for Phantom to be released. There's a pre-save link for it right now. You could pre-save it on Spotify, even though that's useless to anyone listening to this because the song's already out.
Yeah, right
But
now there's a pre-save link.
Yes, right now.
But right now, though, if you're listening in real time on the 13th, Friday the 13th, you can go and stream the song on Spotify, Apple Music, Google Podcast, Stitcher, Breaker, Radio Pub. No, I'm just kidding. Those are podcast platforms, but the first three for sure. It's on YouTube as well. Go check it out. That's Johnnymanna. Check it out. The song is amazing, guys. We've heard it. You're going to love it. It's actually, you've heard a sample of it as well.
Go stream Johnnymanna on Tidal. That's where he gets the most
money.
Johnny,
we only played a snippet of it at the beginning, because if you want, we can play the full version at the end, or we can play another one of your songs at the end. so that they can go
Or
and
we can
give.
play a Green Day song.
Or we can't do that. But you'll let us know. Either way, guys, you've heard it at one portion in this episode. And Johnny, the last thing I got to ask you is, as an artist and a creator, take a word and describe yourself. One word, and then elaborate on that word and why you chose that word. But right now, I'm just curious, like, what would one word be if you had to choose to describe yourself as a creator?
Purposeful. And I was
Okay.
completely
Why?
on the spot because I feel like I'm at a point now where everything I do for a reason. I feel like I do it either for me to be happy or to try to make other people happy. I feel like I try to, in whether it's in art or just like my everyday life, like I try to make sure that everything I'm doing is real and nothing's fabricated and everything means something. I try to always make the most out of every moment or everything that I do or every interaction. And that's like part of, obviously, like I'm not perfect, like that isn't always the case, but I feel like I'm more purposeful and like aware of that as like a value to have going through your life that I didn't have before and that I feel like is helpful with my art as well.
Word. That's awesome, man. That's very noble. I respect that.
That was a word.
It was a good word.
I mean,
It was a
I
good
thought
choice.
of that on the spot,
And
but
and by the way, that was the
it was either that or
quickest guest
SlenderMan.
response that I've
That is a record.
ever seen, with such a
That is a new
cohesive
record.
and concise explanation as well, just to back it up. So Johnny, thank you again so much for joining us, man. We appreciate it. Guys, his handle has been in the box of his name the whole time. That's at Johnnymanna. Go and find him on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. He also is on YouTube at Johnnymanna, Spotify, Apple. Those are the
All
only
the
two that
social
really
medias.
matter, but there's others as well, I'm sure. Maybe Title, probably not, but he could be on Title. We're not going to have him answer that right now. We don't know.
He already said he is.
Okay, he already said he is, so that's why. Because I knew he did, I just didn't know what he said. Guys, this was an awesome episode. We appreciate Johnny being here with us.
Thank
Real
you so
quick,
much for
though,
having me, guys.
Oh, for sure, man. Andrew, we also do some cool stuff, don't we?
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
Yeah, where can
I mean,
find that, Andrew, and what do you want them to know about it?
well, this is one of the cool things that we do. And if you're listening to this, then
cool.
you can continue to listen to it on all the digital streaming platforms, that being, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Radio Public, all those other fun ones. It's Talkin with Andrew and Chris. We're also on all the social medias at Talkin Podcast. It's the same one. If you want to stay up to date, follow us, talk to us, hang out with us. We're also on YouTube, just like Johnny is. I believe it's at YouTube / Talking with Andrew and Chris. We've got videos up. We put up the episodes every week, so you can see all of our hilarious visual bits.
Yeah, and if the audio episodes have been weird since we started being on YouTube, that is probably why, because you're not getting the visuals. So you might want to go and check those out. Just
it's a little
saying.
weird.
We love you, audio listeners.
Also, while you're on all those places, those places being YouTube, social medias, and the digital streaming platforms, be sure to check out Chris's other show with Dom, the movie nerd.
Stop it. You're
being
too kind.
Talkin TV. On the social medias, it's Talkin TV podcast, but check all that stuff out because I'm on a little bit of it. I was just on the last one, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
Last,
yeah, well, not at this point in time, but sure.
Not at this point in time, but
you're on. We have a monthly collaboration between the two podcasts, anyways. So
yeah. And I'm on a couple other episodes too. So go.
You're
check
a regular.
It out.
Let's put it that way. You're a series regular. You're not quite top billing, but you're getting paid to be there each week.
Exactly. So even if you don't want more Chris, which I can understand that, you can still get more of me over there too.
Oh yeah, that's what he meant.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right. He's not saying he doesn't. Or is he? I don't know. Anyways, guys, what I do know is that the show has been, well, first off, it doesn't want to die, so we're not going to let it. You guys have been relentless in your support, and we actually really, honestly do appreciate that. I mean, we know we haven't been the most consistent in the past. This is our first full month back, and it's all because of you guys, because the numbers, honestly, are outstanding. And so we feel it's our duty to deliver you the best show we can each week, and we hope that you guys enjoyed this one. One last time, again, it's Johnnymanna on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, YouTube, Google. Just Google them.
Yeah, just Google them.
Good. Johnny, I want to wish you all the best on your LSAT and other SATs that you may take on your law school journey. And thank you for being here, guys.
Yeah, good luck with that bar thing. I heard it's pretty tough.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys. Good luck with everything you do from here as well.
Yeah, Johnny, man, look, I feel
Thanks,
like we won't really
Johnny.
speak until the next time we do into these, so I
Yeah.
hope that you have a good holiday and just everything goes well for you,
Yeah.
man. So
Good luck on the release, man.
yeah, good
Hope
luck on
to
the
hear
release.
good things from that.
If you don't hear from us, which you probably won't, just know we're thinking about you, and we appreciate you being here right now.
Yeah, I'll
And
let you guys know next time on the episode how that all went, how the bar
Yeah,
exam went.
great.
yeah,
Great.
you know how to find
Yeah,
us.
that'd be so exciting if the next time we have you on, you're a lawyer.
That'd be crazy.
That'd be
From
really cool.
from law student to lawyer, the transformation.
Who'd have thunk
Anyways,
it?
guys, speaking of transformations, you heard all about how this is the precipice of the new growth that Johnnymanna has been waiting to
Ooh.
show us. So without further ado, let's not waste any more time, guys. Here is Phantoms by Johnnymanna on Talkin with Andrew and Chris. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.